What is up, everyone? Welcome to Plastic-Boi Podcast, a show where we break down video game news of the week. My name's Fonzie. I'm joined by my co-host, Gavaroni Jones. Gavin, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a lovely week.
Week.
Most of the smoke is gone.
Yeah, it's finally it's been a week of no smoke. Although I'll wake up and see it's clear as day, and I'm thinking I'm going to go do something outside. I never do. I go right back inside.
Now that being said, I feel like something's wrong. Like maybe my vaccine's finally kicked in because just testicles swelling out to, I've become...
Is that a symptom of the vaccine, or is that just your own body going on?
I mean, look, you know what I'm talking about, right?
No, a testicle swelling as part of the vaccine, or just like the heat?
No, there's that Nicki Minaj made super waves.
Yeah.
She put out a tweet. She's like, "Oh, my cousin's friend, he got the vaccine,
right? Okay.
And now he has an STD or something."
Oh, yeah. So. I have seen people online, saying "Oh, it gave me herpes." It's like, no, it didn't. You're just using that to explain your life away, and I respect that. You got to do something when you're living a wild life, but no, at least for me, no swelling of the testicles, just regular ass. I wish it'd be cool to have some kind of superhuman,
bouncing ball testicles like in South Park.
At least I get a reality show or something off of that. But yeah, no, we got clear skies, regular sized testicles. Everything's good in life.
Those are the big two.
That's all I ask for.
And that's how you gauge your life. How
Yeah.
You've been watching anything?
Not really. You know what? We watched Mars Attacks last night.
Ooh, I was thinking about watching
It's
that.
on Netflix. It's, it's fucking dope. It actually it holds up. I watched it once as a kid, and I remembered how weird it was, but it's actually everybody's in it. A ton of people are in that movie, and it's funny.
I was thinking about after my luck with Speed, I was on a high after Speed.
Where you're nailing these old school movies.
Yeah, so I was looking at this, and I'm like, maybe something else. And so I decided I saw Volcano on Hulu.
Oh, Volcano's dope. Well, I remember it being dope.
The intro, the first, I'm probably about an hour in, and nothing has happened. A couple of people have died in the most boring. Michael J.
Fox. Oh, Glenn Close, I want to say. Who's he? What's it? That guy
Jack
who's one of them. Jack Nicholson.
Looking younger.
Ton of people. Natalie Portman, Pierce Brosnan, blah, blah, blah. There's a ton of people.
Martin Short was in there. That dog, that was Air Bud.
That was Air Bud.
That'd be amazing if
he
it actually was.
5 minutes later, but yeah. So this is 96, I want to say. I remember looking it up.
Wow.
So the CG, is rough, but it's still fine. But the whole thing is pulpy, is wacky and out there, but it's actually really, really cool.
Well, and that was wasn't the comic book pulpy and out there as well?
I don't know. I know in the intro showing off all the different casts and stuff, it says it's based on whatever property. I've never read or seen that property, but yeah, it's based on something.
This was so very much of its era. I wonder if this could even come out today. But I feel like watching this, though, you can easily put yourself back in your 13-year-old pants and be like, oh, this movie is amazing. Look at these graphics.
Right.
That's all computers. Those aren't puppets.
Yeah, for computer stuff, they do a good job. They do one thing that I really like is once the aliens do die, they end up, shooting each other and stuff. But once the aliens die in a firefight, they switch to an actual real body that's in the scene, an actual just a puppet or whatever.
Yeah.
So it looks really cool. The aliens look super gross and they're just funny to look at.
Right.
But I think it holds up and it's just weird and funny. And it's a Tim Burton movie, which I always remember it. I guess I forgot about, but yeah.
Wow.
It's not bad.
All right. Well, that's next on my list.
I highly recommend it. But you were mentioning another movie. I was going to segue.
Oh, Volcano?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember Volcano launched with Dante's Peak at the same time? For some reason, there was two volcano or lava volcano related movies at the same time.
I do remember that. It seems like that happens, at least once a year. There are two almost identical movies that launch at the same time. And yeah, I think this was, I don't know the other one. I think I actually saw the other one, but I can't remember it. But Volcano, I remember so far it seems like nothing's going to happen.
I know it does eventually pops off. There's lava coming out of LA, every nook and cranny. And there's the scene where the dude gets melted in lava, which is pretty dope. This one had, if you were to compare, because you have to, the two volcano related movies with Dante's Peak didn't have as much lava as Volcano did. Maybe they should put that in the box. It's like it has more lava than Dante's Peak. But there's like people melting, and it's just way more like, there's that apocalyptic movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. It's like The Last Day, or Tomorrow's the Last Day, or it's a global warming related where everything freezes in New York.
Oh, Day After Tomorrow?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, where it's that vibe where it's just let's try and get as ridiculous as we can, somewhat.
You know, sort of a sadder fact, but like I guess these destruction movies were kind of all the rage for a while, and I kind of remember a couple of those shots with the lava. But I guess the thing that actually made it go away was 9/11. Yeah,
I would not doubt that.
We were kind of done with this shit for a little bit.
Yeah, I totally get that, where it's like you don't want to see destruction on a mass scale, and now we're back to it.
Yeah,
but yeah, you need some buffer room where it's like the last thing people want to see is this kind of shit. But
instead of natural disaster, I remember. I think I did see the scene. I think I walked into the back room and saw that with the pylons.
Oh, okay.
Thinking that was cool as shit, and also I have a feeling pylons wouldn't actually stop lava. But maybe they would. I don't know. Science.
Yeah, I think you throw that out the window when you watch this movie.
I mean, it's literally melted rock trying to be stopped by rock. I don't. Yeah.
Volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was...
the coast is toast. Oh, what a tagline, though. That's
at least had that
golden.
Yeah.
But instead of natural disasters now, we just have Vin Diesel and his crew destroy the city.
Which I'm not mad at.
Trying to pull off a caper.
Yep. I need to watch the new one. I think it becomes streamable pretty soon. The last Fast 24 or whatever they're on. But
I didn't know you hadn't seen it. Wait, what?
Yeah. So we, at one point, me and my nephew were planning, because we marathon all of them, and we're going to plan on watching the new one, but it left theaters. And so we're going to stream it at some point. You might be able to rent it now. Fast 9, I want to say.
See that. Seems like it jumps pretty quick.
The Rock isn't in it. And he announced, like, he did something on Twitter or Instagram where he's like, wishing them well, but he's not going to be in the finale of it. I wish he was there, because he adds this cool element where he's just fun. Any movie he's in, he's fun to watch. And so I really dug when The Rock was in these movies. He's no longer in them. But yeah.
That's too bad. I did. There was this one movie critic that I love watching him critique stuff. And he, as like a whatchamacallit goal when you like raise the money, not GoFundMe, but
like a tier
Patreon. Yeah, it was a Patreon thing. Once he got to a certain level of supporter, he was going to take his parents who've never seen a Fast and Furious movie to see this. And even they came out of the theater making family jokes.
Like no context. They just, let's do this movie about driving. Oh, there was like 5% driving in this movie. Just explosions.
Just a lot of family.
That's awesome.
A lot of family. Well, damn, I'm going to have to watch Mars Attacks. That's awesome.
Mars Attacks, Volcano, Dante's Peak. Yeah.
Dante's Peak. I don't recall.
Yeah, the other series of like related genre movies that release at the same time, I think of with Volcano and Dante's Peak, is there's the Master something. There's 2 magician movies that launch at the same time.
I was actually thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, and it was like the same week or whatever. Every once in a while happens where it's just the same fucking genre of movies. But I don't know if they planned it or what have you. But yeah, they just pop at the same time.
Maybe it's a great minds think alike, but one thought a little better.
Yeah, but it takes like years to make these things, and they can plan when they release it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But although I think it was Megan told me that she went to when we used to have a drive-through, it was Dante's Peak and Volcano, like double feature.
Ooh.
And that just blows my mind. Like that would have been perfect. And it makes me wish, like everyone, that we still had drive-through theaters, because it could be really dope. For watching these like action-y movies or movies you've already seen, like if you go to the drive-through and you're just hanging out watching it sounds awesome.
Yeah. That'd be great. Bring it back. I know at the start of COVID, they kind of did it, but the screen wasn't very big. It was like slightly bigger than this room.
Yeah. And it takes time to, like, you have to find a property and then build it. Maybe people were like, by the time we build it, it's going to be over. It's not over. It's probably never going away. So it's like, build the fucking drive-thrus now.
Yeah.
There should be all drive-thrus. Yeah. And Walmarts, I guess.
Walmart.
Drive-thrus in Walmart.
Well, they invented that. They just came out with that new whiter than white paint. So now we can have it like fucking glow when you put
I didn't know that. I've seen the videos on YouTube of like super ultra black paint.
Oh, I'm gonna buy some of that.
Really?
Yeah.
To do what with it?
I make so my friend that moved away, we printed out a miniature version of a board game she likes.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's called Tiny Forming Mars, which is based on Terraforming Mars. So for the outside of the box, there's this you can find there's a YouTube video of these guys that make these weird peel paint car thingies.
I'll check it out. What would I search?
type blacker than black car paint. And so he painted a car with this blacker than black car paint. And then
Megan told me about something like this recently.
So the blacker than black makes it look like a void. And then he sprayed it with a light layer of like glitter. So it looks like a void with stars in it. Just skip towards like the end. He does a long section of, and I think
so weird where there's like no reflections.
Right.
It's just like the texture didn't load kind of thing.
Right.
So you're painting the box for this game board?
Yeah, I want to paint that and put like a little bit of glitter on it. And you skip forward, I think he shows the one with, or does he not do the one with the sparkles?
I don't know.
Oh, go back real quick. I want to see.
Well, we've been driving. It's almost like velvet or something.
Yeah. Pretty comparable.
That's pretty trippy.
Here, go back real quick. Go back one screen. I want to see if you can get the glitter one.
The glitter. This is the same video though, for sure?
It must be. No, I meant back a screen. I think there's a different video.
Gotcha. I see. Vanta black. We got spraying a hyper shift. Painted my room black. I've seen the painted my room black video.
Oh, that'd be weird.
An apple.
Is it maybe at the top?
That was the first one we watched there.
Vanta black.
Vanta black.
Maybe it's the third one. Yeah, I think it's that third one there.
Gotcha. Skipping around. Oh, okay. I see some.
Is that sparkles. Not insane?
That is awesome. It's like a constellation or just like a star, night sky. That is really cool. What?
Cthulhu would approve this portal awesome. To another universe in the shape of a car.
Is there purple in there? He's using a light maybe reflecting on it?
I think there's purple in the glitter.
Wow.
Yeah.
What? I want this. That's awesome.
He says, though, not to do it because the sun will destroy the black paint.
Makes sense. Unless you have some kind of top coat protecting thing, but then it creates a glare and then it's the whole thing's messed up.
The handle looks so fucking weird.
That's really cool. Dang.
So that's what I want to do for the box is do now. It won't be Vanta Black. Vanta Black is produced by this absolute asshole of a guy. So there's this other guy who's like a rock star paint maker and who has made multiple paints just to fuck with the guy who made Vanta Black. So I'll be getting Black.
Oh, is there like drama or competition between them?
Yeah, you should look it up. It's actually really interesting.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Why doesn't maybe the military already does this, but like it seems like this is what they would use to like black out an F1, whatever the crazy like military helicopters or whatever jets, like you think you just black it out like this and then just let it cruise around.
I imagine there are disadvantages besides the fact that it doesn't do well in the sun. True.
Yeah, you can't actually use this and have it last for any long amount of time.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But what you been playing this week?
Deathlooping it up. I finally figured out or like understand more about the game as far as what to do. Because I'm an idiot, so I'm playing the game and I'm kind of playing it and realizing stuff along the way. But now like I not fully grasp it, but I understand like what to do and having fun and unlocking stuff. Playing that a bunch and really that's it. That's it. Is just I get 2 hours a night. Just with the moving and stuff like that,
that's about like 2 areas a night.
Yeah,
maybe.
I find myself replaying the same areas over and over again. I don't know if you have been doing that, where I don't realize, I didn't do something correct, so it just the little thing stays on that level. But
it'll come back. A lot of them.
Okay, gotcha. But I'm having a blast. It's really cool. Yeah. I'm playing it. How about you?
I am actually. I finished it right before I headed out here.
You finished it?
Yeah, I beat it.
Whoa.
So I knew last night I was set up. I was on the final night. I'd done the whole setup to do everyone in one big streak. I'm like, yeah, I can probably knock that out in less than an hour when I get home. So I've now finished it, and man, what a game. I think 37 hours for me to beat it.
Yeah, I'm around like 8 at the most, 10.
I do kind of regret though. So I took launch day and the day after off. And I put in 24 hours within those 2 days off, not including, I did play some, like, we kind of got a little bit early because it launched at 9 on the West Coast.
Oh, right.
But yeah, so I put 24 hours in that period. I kind of regret that because something I really enjoyed about when I played Outer Wilds, especially with these loop games, is you play a bit and then you go off, you have your life, you're at work, but you're thinking about the gears are turning, whereas just marathoning it, I think ruined parts of it a bit for me. Because it breaks the way they break it up into days, into sections. It makes really good just chill out, explore for a little bit, almost treat it like an episode of a TV show, and then go on with your life. And I think it works better in that sense. This kind of, even though it's very, very long, this does work as a game for people who got shit to do.
Gotcha. I see what you mean, where you kind of benefit from taking time away and thinking about it, thinking what you're going to change on the next playthrough versus just sitting there and playing for hours on end.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, let's save we're going to play this at the very end and just talk more about it, but we are both playing that. I'm really digging it. We talked about the review scores last week, which were really dope. I did figure out, because of the PC issues that are I guess plaguing PC users with frame rates and stuff. Have you experienced that at all?
No, I haven't experienced that. And frustratingly, when I look around on the comments, I haven't really seen people having the same problems I have. So I had, if I had, what's the thing with the rays?
Like G-Sync or ray tracing?
If I had ray tracing turned on, when I go to equip I forget what they're called, but like a relic thingy on a gun, which you need to do.
Yeah.
It would crash.
Gotcha. Oh, I remember you telling me that. Yeah. So did that fix itself, or that kept happening?
No, I just left off ray tracing, and the game looks fine without it.
Oh, gotcha.
The other thing was, I did have one. Oh my God. I was in a level, and there's it's not a super long quest once you know what to do, but there's maybe like a 20 minute, half an hour long quest to get a legendary item. And I was so proud I'd figured out how to do it. And then I get to the door and it won't let me out.
Oh no.
So I had to just shut it down and restart. And I came back to it later. I was too frustrated that night. And I did eventually get that gun.
Gotcha.
But it's been, I think it's worked very well. I haven't had any micro stuttering whatsoever.
I see. Yeah, I was just reading about PC users kind of having that. On PS5, I did have performance stuff. There was slight performance stuff where the frame rate would kind of, and I'm not a frame rate Nazi where it's like I notice it and I'm super keen on the whole thing, but once it does happen where it's dipping below, where it almost feels like it's a little nauseating when you're moving around, then it's like, okay, I can notice this. I would restart the game and do it again.
How cool was the scene? This
is really cool, and it didn't make sense to me. I guess I'm still kind of getting through the story, and I'm not sure what the hell's going on with the two Colts, but I found that just closing out the game, restarting it, fixed the whole performance stuff on PS5. But I kept texting you about this audio bug I thought I had, where I couldn't hear Juliana's audio, and I was like, oh, this must be part of the whole, like, people are talking about bugs and stuff happening with this game. But it's on PS5, her audio only comes out through your DualSense controller. And I, months ago, muted that because I don't want to hear clanks and shooting audio like out of my controller. So I turned it off. But that's the only way she talks through the game. And so the game didn't just notice that and play through my TV speakers. It was just muting it. And I thought, oh, I did something wrong. But figured it out. Now I just turned it on and it's playing through the DualSense, which is fine. Like, I hear audio, which is her audio is really dope. Like, it's voice acted really well. And you do hear some of the reload animation stuff and different little cues. So it is a benefit to have the DualSense audio on. I just don't typically like having audio blast from my controller in addition to the TV. But
I get that. Like, why would you want worse audio?
Yeah, for some people it's more, I get the idea, it's more immersive. You hear different things, and it's not like blasting the entire game through the whatever, but she didn't answer that?
No.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I figured out what I was doing wrong and what have you. But yeah, it's running great on PS5. There's there's three visual modes. There's performance, there's like a 4K, just like true 4K, and there's ray tracing. And I don't notice any difference between the three. But there is, but there is three of them. It's like I can't notice any actual difference, since I don't know if my PS5's busted or something. But
yeah, the ray tracing was pretty hard. The only thing I can tell sort of with the ray trace shadows is it looks a little better with like the fuzziness to the crispness.
Gotcha. Yeah, I always look for reflections with ray tracing, but it's not just that. It's also the shadow stuff that's going on.
Right. Yeah, shadows are, for me, they're a little more important, but I wish also the ambient occlusion, like I switched on for a while until I had to turn it off, but the ray traced ambient occlusion, which I do think that looks a little bit better, but also at the same time, it could still be, I don't know. It's weird that ambient occlusion hasn't evolved much since it came out.
Gotcha. I don't know what it does and what it does not do, but I know it's a thing. I've always seen that in the options on PCs, but I don't know what it does.
Right.
So I could pretend, but I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, we'll play a little bit at the end here of some Deathloop.
How'd you feel about the triggers, by the way?
We'll get into that. We'll just save it towards the end.
All right.
We'll get into that. But we got some gaming news, Gavin. We got first one here is Marvel vs. Capcom 2 remaster discussions have reportedly begun. I'll play some little B-roll here. Did you play a bunch of Marvel vs. Capcom back in the day?
No, but
people love it.
I have watched, this was Andy's game.
Gotcha.
I do remember I played this, my buddy was feeling pretty tough shit at this. And so we decided, back in high school, me and Joe was like, I'll whoop your ass in Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm like, no, you just mash the buttons. And so he brought it out. We were playing it on Dreamcast. And so I'm mashing buttons. And here's the thing. When he'd occasionally catch me, I'd mash all the buttons at once. And what that does is swap in characters. So the second he'd hit me once, I'd swap out and beat his ass again. So he was
We just like sit on the controller to like press them all.
But I love Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is probably one of my favorite fighting games to watch, even though it's incomprehensible madness on the screen. It's just the whole screen is exploding nonstop at all point in time. And that's sort of the hole that's been filled by Dragon Ball Fighter Z. But also, I can't tell those characters apart, so give me Marvel vs. Capcom 3 again.
Yeah. Yeah, I never played a bunch. I think I might have played an arcade cabinet of this at some point. But I always liked the visual style. For some reason, for me, they always nailed how the comics look, and I just loved how it looks visually.
Right.
And there's tons of stuff happening at once, and I just can't follow it. But I love how you can swap different characters. They look like the comics, so I'm already on board because of that. Yeah. But there was a little bit of news on it. So we got from Logan Plant on IGN, I want to say. Digital Eclipse wants to revive Marvel vs. Capcom 2 with a remaster, and the studio head says discussions about the project have begun. Although I think where it gets a little weird, where in 2013, Capcom's license to use the Marvel characters expired, resulting in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 being removed from digital storefronts. So there is that. But there was that, is Marvel vs. Capcom 3 the last one? I know there was one maybe about a year ago on Switch. What was that one?
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, I believe is the title.
Gotcha. That was not Capcom related?
It was Capcom.
Okay.
But no, was it just... No, Marvel wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I can look it up. But I know that it was something different. It was kind of a divisive as far as how people liked it. But
yeah, people hated. People were shitting on day one because they hated the art style, which...
It was a different art style, yeah, for sure.
I thought it was fine, but yeah, I think the other one looked better. People will get ridiculous about stuff. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. I would love to see it in that new, like... cell shading tech that we have. I wonder if it's like certain Marvel properties they couldn't get a hold of.
I think that was the issue with the last one, is they couldn't use a lot of normal characters that they could have beforehand.
Right. Gotta bring back Little Red Riding Hood. She was dope. Yeah. I don't know if she was actually good, but she was cool.
Was that an actual character?
Oh yeah. She had a machine gun.
Whose property was that? Capcom?
I assume Marvel. Okay. I have no clue. Could have been Darkstalker character maybe.
But yeah, I think that was the issue where because of the Fox thing, they didn't have rights to those characters, so there was no X-Men, no Wolverine. It was just like straight Marvel. Yeah,
I didn't think about that. I did. A lot of people. I was reading through the Destructoid comment section. People were like, "Please just give us like knockoff brand." Fighting game characters. That being said, we kind of have the Power Ranger Fight for the Grid for that. They've said that like some of these characters are just straight up. They're like this Red Ranger with a sword. That's just Wolverine. Like he plays like Wolverine did in this game.
Yep.
Suck it.
That reminds me on some of the earlier WWF games before it was WWE, and before they merged with WCW, they had that a character creator where you could just create another character. So people would just do that, and you could basically, they had enough of the emotes and stuff and like taunts where you could just create the WCW characters. They almost intended on you doing that to like bypass that.
There was a really cool thing on Twitch for a while. I assume it stopped, but where they made like everyone in this game. Like we're probably in it.
Sure.
So they had all these different video game characters, and then they gave like, I guess there's scene creation, so you can make behind the scenes stuff.
What?
So they had like these really super elaborate plot lines, and then I think the actual fights were a simulation, and then that would affect the plot.
Whoa, interesting. What was the game called?
It was just one of those WWEs, but yeah, there was a Twitch channel. I don't know what the Twitch channel was, but I think that's so creative to have the simulation. And then, I mean, wrestling's already batshit as it is.
Right.
So why not do this?
Yeah.
So that's
awesome.
You'd have fucking Rick from Rick and Morty fighting Donkey Kong, and
right.
I'm pretty sure they were modding it as well, but it was.
That's the future the Dems want is Rick and Morty fighting Donkey Kong. I'm on board. But yeah, there's rumblings of this having a remaster. Hopefully it's possible, but I think there's legal mumbo jumbo that might get in the way. But that was in the news recently.
I'd rather have a remake than a remaster, but yeah, they may not be able to.
True. I think if a lot of the diehards would at least be satisfied with just letting this thing be back on digital storefronts, but I just don't know how you do that. We got the next one here. Some news about PS5 and Xbox Series X. So PS5 and Xbox Series X are reportedly going on sale at Best Buy stores for the first time in 2021. So this is confirmed. So Best Buy confirms limited quantities of PS5 and Xbox Series X in stores for tomorrow, so Thursday. So participating stores, and you can go onto the website and actually like plug in your store. You can get in line, buy one physically. They're handed out at 7:30 a.m. local time. You'll get a ticket, and then that gives you the option to actually buy it in store. I did plug in our local Best Buy, and it is not on the options. It's just like the West Coast of Washington allows it. But this is the first time they're really trying, because these consoles launched during the pandemic, so there wasn't any kind of physical launch. And so this is the first time to let people line up and actually get one.
Well, I mean, that and like the silicone shortage as well. Like
right. That in addition to like just people physically meeting up.
I get what you're saying.
But both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's happening tomorrow. You're going to line up. I guess you can't be at our local Best Buy, but
you're going to drive clear to Seattle for
the chance.
A thing that is inferior to my PC. Yeah.
Yes. It is. But they're dope.
Yeah.
You can actually find the Xbox Series S online pretty often. It's just a Series X. It's really, really hard to find. PS5 is also even more so hard to find.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going down tomorrow. So we'll see. Awesome. Hopefully nobody gets shot. I know the PS3, PS4 era, people were like getting attacked in the parking lot when they'd actually secure one. So yeah.
No, I remember that.
Yes, but yeah, you can still sell these on eBay and find them for, $700, $800. So hopefully there's no drama there.
Yeah. Oh, my roommate bought one for like $800.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
$800?
Yeah.
Jeez. I just waited until I was able to get one like just MSRP, but.
Right. Well, didn't you get like back in that like initial rush where like everyone got in and like you managed to get one? Like, I feel like you got pretty lucky.
I did, for sure. I actually got lucky twice. I was able to buy two of them. One of them I gave to my sister. She gave it to my nephew. But yeah, right when they opened pre-orders, I jumped in to sign up for it. It was through PlayStation, through their website. You could sign up as long as you entered your PlayStation name on their network. You got on the list, and so they would email you when you could then just go and buy one on their portal. Yeah. But I was able to get one and had one day one, and they opened it up again. I got another email, and then I just gave that one to my sister. But yeah, there's a bit of luck in there, but also online they just pop up randomly. As long as you follow the right people on Twitter, it's like you can get notified when this stuff goes live.
Right. You
just also have to be trying to get in there, but then also mix the luck into that whole thing too.
Right.
But we got next one here, Gavin, is Phasmophobia anniversary update, adds single player mode, and Halloween's coming up. And you're thinking maybe we could play this, Gavin?
Oh, was I? Is that a thing?
I was thinking of this. But maybe
I mean, not. You saw how freaked out like the one time we had one jump scare in PT.
Right.
That was dumb.
You know what was a bummer with PT? Was it last year, maybe the year before we tried to play it? We couldn't find like eventually we got stuck where there was no more scary stuff happening. We're stuck in this loop where because we didn't find the thing to trigger the next level.
Yeah.
We couldn't proceed, and it was kind of frustrating. But
yeah,
the actual article here is from IGN. Jared Moore, with ghost hunting horror co-op game Phasmophobia having just had its first anniversary, developer Kinetic Games has celebrated the milestone achievement with a launch of a brand new update that adds a single-player mode to the game. Just in context, so Phasmophobia has sold over 2 million copies as of June 2021.
Oh, wow.
It was initially developed by one guy. I think the actual studio now has multiple people working on it. But to start off with one person making this is pretty nuts.
And it does look like, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it does look like a lot of like stock art. So I'm sure you could just buy these with assets off the Unreal store. I assume this is Unreal.
I would assume so too, yeah.
But I mean, I think I said it before the podcast begins. Good on this person for having this wild ass idea that had no business being a runaway success.
Right. They nailed it.
Yeah, fantastic. I
played it once with a buddy of mine. We linked up online. They do it like every week, and I jumped in with them. And there's enough minutia and like rules where it was kind of like I'd have to keep playing it to kind of get the general idea, and I would die instantly or just get killed by the ghost instantly. Yeah. But once you kind of figure it out, it seems like there's fun to be had, and the ghosts are scary. It's just there's a lot of rules to it. There's a lot of before you do this, do that. Make sure you have this thing equipped. And I'd like it, but you really have to kind of stick with it to have fun with it.
I think it would have been fun, like playing it when it first came out and people weren't really sure of the rules and the tips and the tricks.
Oh, yeah, because now you can just, Wikipedia or Google it.
Yeah.
It is for sure scary. Like once you actually walk up to the first house, it's just you there if you're playing on your own. And everything's super dark. Of course, the lights are off, like electricity doesn't work. And it's very creepy. So they nail that alone. Yeah. I've yet to actually like succeed in playing in VR. But I can't imagine how that is in VR.
I'm still confused by, you mentioned the rules, and one of the things that confuses me watching people play it is, how do you die? Because it seems like the ghost will kind of get you. So I don't know if you have like multiple lives, if it's like a death saving throw like in D&D, where you just don't know what you're going to like. So whenever like I do see a streamer die, I'm confused about why.
I see. Well, the ghost can get you physically at some point. If you're with a party, you will die, and you can kind of walk around the world as a ghost, but you can't then talk to the other people or like give them information, and so they have to proceed without you.
Oh, this is the bullshit I would hate. You have to like be in a dark room to be able to see the thing.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. And you have like a UV light, a regular light. You have an audio thing. You have other like spectrometer stuff that will help you see ghosts and catch them, and there's a bunch of different ghosts, and they need their own rules to catch them, and some are violent, some aren't. It's a whole thing, but it's really cool. I'm glad they've had so much success with it, but it's also too scary for me.
I don't know why this just reminded me, but I had the weirdest dream yesterday.
Yep.
And it was Psychonauts combined with Deathloop combined with Jaws. So I was
in what way?
I was in this. Well, I was basically in this, like the final area of Psychonauts, which is like a camp, and that's like there's lakes everywhere.
This is Outer Worlds you're talking about?
Psychonauts.
Okay, because isn't that the end of Outer Worlds or Outer Wilds? The artsy one where you have with all the physics. It's like it ends with a camp.
Like there. Anyway, there's lakes everywhere. There's a little pond, and I'm trying to get from area to area, but the shark keeps jumping out and eating me.
Gotcha.
And then I keep waking up, and then I gotta go again, but he always finds me.
And this is in the game or in the dream?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It was a weird dream.
Yeah, I guess. And the Deathloop part is the whole like it just keeps happening.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But
interesting.
Yeah.
Love to pop into your dreams and see what's going on here.
Usually nothing.
Or the last 3 games you play just merged together. Interesting. Well, that's going down. Phasmophobia. I don't have enough guts to play it, but yeah, that is happening. I got a couple of trailers to show you, Kevin.
Oh, okay. I got one to throw in there for you. Oh my god, I saw this. So
it's called Breakers. Breakwaters.
I have no clue how they're doing this with the water.
And I know you're, as am I, like a huge fan for like water physics simulations, and this is doing that.
Yeah. Oh, I just noticed. Oh, well, maybe. I can't tell if the water there, when it went down, if it eroded a little bit of that sand or if it's just making it darker.
The shading.
I think it's just making it darker. That'd be crazy if it eroded the sand, though.
This looks a lot like, and that's what initially turned me on to City Skylines, is they have water simulation physics stuff going on too. And it seems to work the same way, where sometimes they'll start before the rest of it catches it. if that makes any sense. But it looks like just similar stuff. But yeah, you're controlling the water. That ties into the gameplay. It looks really cool.
No clue how they're doing this.
I do not know.
The part later on, they show it like dropping the water in the up on top of like a hill. Like even that, the little streams. So, yeah, they have the dam. Yeah, this. That's crazy.
For the game to actually process.
Right.
I guess to get into like the details, is the game treating the water as like a physical thing and it's actually adding physics to it and it's rerouting it that way? That sounds really crazy to do.
I mean, I guess, I saw a thing. So towards the end, you can see things get kind of triangular. Some of the water coming down off that thing had these weird pointy bits along the walls.
The water was doing that.
Yeah, you'll see it in that final shot. Also, I saw a tree just walking in the background there, or moving. Yeah,
trees walk. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, can you go back to, on the left there's just a tree moving.
Let's see. There is. What's the deal with that tree? Maybe that's part of the story. I don't know. Or the physics are like, fuck it. Also make the tree move. That's how we make it work.
What is happening?
It's just, he's moving.
Interesting. So
I love it, man. I want this more so than like ray tracing or whatever. And
sure.
As we get into next gen with 4K stuff, I just want these elements in games to be beefed up and now potentially have that processing power where you can handle just really complicated physics and simulations. And yeah, there is this weird, like triangle stuff. It's just trying to, figure it out, but it looks really cool.
And you were asking how they do it. My best guess is similar to how Minecraft does it, but on a smaller scale, like maybe half that or a quarter of that size, and then using like a marching cubes algorithm to interpolate. But
I was gonna say
at the same time, this also looks better than what I'm saying, so I think he's doing something different. Gotcha. I don't know what. Also, this person was standing the current up there at the top of the stairs.
Oh yeah,
hanging out, him in the moving tree.
Right.
It's so fucking. Why does it move so smoothly?
I don't know. And it's not a perspective shift. It's like it's moving.
And it doesn't start until a little ways.
It could be part
the camera
of the
starts moving. Really?
Yeah, maybe something in the story that we don't know about is happening, but the game's just like scoot this tree while they're not paying attention.
The fuck out of here.
But looks really cool. I'm a huge nerd for any kind of water physics stuff, so looks great.
Be cool.
But yeah, got a trailer there. Flip back to another trailer here. This next one is Industria. So this is a Half-Life inspired FPS. Comes out September 30th. We've been talking about how loaded this fall is.
Yeah.
There's another one to add to the list. It looks really cool. It's from Bleak Mill Games.
I wonder if I know what this one is.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
Very like between like BioShock and let's just watch. Yeah.
It's a short trailer.
Okay.
But it shows a gameplay mixed with this stuff here. But on PC, you can wishlist it now on Steam.
No frame rate though.
Already that stuff is very Half-Life. You have this
okay.
giant walking around for some reason.
Yeah, I did see
a little bit of that Russian game vibes.
Head
Heart.
Yeah.
You have the Boston Dynamics robots that you're shooting.
This looks cool. I'm down.
Right? Comes out very soon, September 30th.
I thought I heard some people complaining about this, that it looks a little too Half-Life-y. I don't.
At this point, if Valve isn't doing it, somebody else has got to do it. So at least somebody's trying.
I also don't feel like Valve should have like full claim on this art style.
No, I hear you. Yeah, for sure. And they're doing nothing with it. We got Alex recently, but they're doing nothing with it.
Why is this trailer so much smoother?
I don't know. This is actually an older trailer too, from June.
Oh.
I think I really like the aesthetic. The robots you're fighting. I don't know what's to do with that giant in the background, but you can play the demo. I didn't know that. Apparently.
Oh,
I just heard that this game existed. It was PC Gamer that showed it off, so I guess the demo is available.
I'm putting that down, and
you could play a demo. Also, the game comes out in like a week. On top of that.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's September 30th.
I should go. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, it's September 30th, so it's very soon.
Okay, well, I should go wishlist that. That being said, I'm not going to play it because I think on the 27th or whatever, we have the new Outer Wilds expansion. But on this, speaking of demos,
lay it on me.
Inscription.
I'm gonna try and spell it from memory. Inception. Inscription.
Game.
What game?
Yeah.
In like Bible.
This
inscription
fucker
stuff.
here is they're putting out a demo on
Creator of Pony Island. That sounds familiar.
Friday.
Vaguely.
It's a weird game. You'll remember this trailer.
Comes an inky black card-based Odyssey. Okay, you lost me at card-based, but I will stick with this. I know you're a huge nerd for card-based stuff. Okay.
I mean, it's just creepy.
It is creepy. What's going on? Is this Pokemon?
You're playing some form of confusing game.
Meanwhile, these creatures are staring at you.
Right. Cards are talking at you and shit.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, his previous games have been very dark, very weird, very fucked up. Or at least Pony Island has. I don't know about the Hex. But this looks very intriguing. Seems like you're kind of locked in a cabin, forced to play a game.
That's your dream, man. That's all you want in life.
So yeah, demo's out Friday. Release date trailer will be out Friday.
Ooh.
So worth
play this and let me know, because it looks weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the card thing that turns me off a little bit. Not like the end of the world, but I know this is your vibe. Like, for sure, tell me if you like this, because I'm also interested.
Sounds good.
Inscription. So trailer or not trailer, demo Friday.
Yep.
Gotcha. Nice. Okay. Well, we'll switch on to the next one here. We got a Halo Infinite beta test this weekend. Now, Gavin, please tell me you signed up for the flight thing last time this happened. Have you signed up on Halo Waypoint, whatever? Oh, God damn it. So it's no longer like accepting applications. So you have to be a part of this, you have to have already signed up for it before like September 13th or whatever the last one is, August 13th.
Gotcha.
Did you not do that? I sent you links. I even like went to your house and preloaded the website. All I had to do was enter your information.
You did.
God damn it, Gavin.
Yeah.
I don't want you to miss out. I want to play this. So I missed out even doing all that stuff. I didn't get my final email from 343 to actually download it. So I missed out. I was just watching online and it was a huge bummer. I'm hoping that they actually send me the email this time, but I'm signed up and ready to go. I did, just like last time, I got the email saying you're in. I just need to get the actual download code from them. But yeah. Gotcha. So this happens. This is from Bungie Sales on Twitter. Just some details on it. We'll be live for back-to-back weekends for Halo Insiders. Weekend 1 is this weekend, September 23rd through the 26th, which actually starts tomorrow. And then weekend 2 is September 30th through the October 3rd. Different multiplayer modes that they're going to add. But I wish you were on this, Kevin.
I'm sorry. I did see before I came over here, I saw a little bit of multiplayer footage of maybe this is it. They were showing
they did a stream today,
showing some big team battle. So that's what I'm here for. Just send me out there and I'll shoot things until I die. That sounds like fun.
I can't wait. I'm really bummed that I missed the last one. I'm hoping that I get in on this one. I want to try this stuff. It seems like they're starting it off without bots this time. It's just straight multiplayer. From listening to a little bit of the stream they had today, 343, they talked about just stuff that they learned from the first test, just with balancing difficulty and whatnot.
That's good.
I love how transparent and how communicative they're being with this stuff. They're really trying to just be open to the community and show them and talk to them, and I think they're on the right track. Yeah. But yeah, this is happening this weekend. Tomorrow.
When's this game launch again?
Good question. It's the very end of 2021. I want to say it's December is when it's actually launching. But yeah, I know they just missed the market of 2021, but it's coming out later this year.
Gotcha.
But hopefully we get a bunch of these different flight tests and beta tests so people get to play it. They also get to adjust things as they need to. They can stress test their servers so that day one everything works.
Oh my God.
But yeah, they have some dev stuff talking about it.
Some terrible comments in there.
Oh, I'm sure. It's the internet. Yeah. But yeah, can't wait. I would have assumed you would have jumped on, Gavin. Come on.
I mean, I'm loyal to Splitgate now. That's my...
You know what? I hear you, because Splitgate's awesome. But it doesn't have this stuff, the subtraction of portals.
I was surprised to find out I still had Splitgate loaded on my computer. I thought I deleted it after last time when it took hours to download, because I don't know why it's so big. It's pretty big.
I think I still have it on my PC. I download it on Xbox and my PS5 just to have it everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't delete things immediately after they're after I'm done.
I'm trying to fit everything on my little M.2.
I tell you every time, just get another hard drive. No. They're so cheap. Oh man, that does remind me. So I don't have it loaded up, but I texted you last night. Digital Foundry did a video on this. They tested out some hard drives with the PS5, and they found that even the very bare minimum speeds of their M.2 stuff that they recommend functions the same as like a regular higher end recommended hard drive for the PS5. So it's like you could initially use not just like a run of the mill basic SSD. It does have to be Gen 4 from what I understand.
Oh, sure.
But apparently it's like they stress tested it. They tested Insomniac's Ratchet and Clank, and it streams the same, and that's a big test right now is this game, but it's functioning normally. So you can use just like cheaper SSDs, and it still is on par with the internal SSD.
Did some of these scenes in this game just feel like this is not actually happening? This is like a movie?
What do you mean by that? Further, like it's like you're almost like an interactive cutscene, and they're kind of hiding loading behind it.
No, just how pretty that scene he just showed off, where you're flying through, and there's all these cars, and they're busted through at the last second. Then you land on a boat with these squids. Like,
sure,
like this. I'm not actually controlling this, right? Like this is a movie, and they've just tricked me.
Yeah, that's a level of just the quality of the game visually. It's like it's nuts. Yeah. But yeah, you're interacting, you're jumping into different levels, and there's some cutscene stuff where it's like, yeah, you jump on something, you can move a little bit, but then it transitions into the next level. But for the most part, it's all there. It's all happening and loading, and it's a really cool game. I haven't actually finished it. It came out a couple months ago, but I played a good couple hours of it and really dug it. But now I'm on a hunt for the cheapest SSD I can find that will work on my PS5, just so I can like increase the storage. But
gotcha. So that's why you were telling me to buy that $85 one today, right?
That one was just on my radar. It's actually, that one's too slow, because then you get into the whole details of it. Like it does need to be a certain at least bare minimum of speed, but as long as you reach that criteria, Digital Foundry found that they kind of function as good as the like $200-$300 range one. So
right,
has some options there. But and I don't think it's initially I was like, oh, okay, cool, Sony lied to us about this. You can use just a random SSD you find on the street. That's not the case yet, because I think what we're seeing is it might work now as devs are just starting to push the SSD tech, but 3-4 years from now, as they really rely heavily on the loading speeds, they might really need it to be whatever window of speed. So it's like, I think everything runs now fine, but in a couple of years, you might find issues with if you're using something that isn't in the recommended speed.
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, I'm sure for most stuff it's fine. They're so
I think right now
fast.
You're good.
Yeah.
Right.
Even just a regular SSD, not an M.2, is still crazy fast.
They are, yeah. Like I've seen, and I'll go on Newegg and see all the breakdowns of the various speeds, whether it's like 4,000 megabits a second, 5,000. I don't know what that translates to, because on my PC, I've used just the cheapest, like M.2, and they still run fine. So, but I just don't know how it transcends into console stuff. But yeah, I did read that or watch that video. It was pretty interesting. We got some Metacritic stuff here. We got Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, got an 84. This is a big one on PS5 and PC. And got some footage here.
Something I found interesting about this in every review I've watched of it, which makes me want to play it. Everyone's trying so hard to avoid spoilers that I know nothing about the game.
I'm in the same boat where I think I've seen the initial trailer. They showed this off the first time they showed the PS5 last June or whatever. And that's really the only thing I've seen of it.
So
it looks great, like a Pixar movie. That's really all I know is the visual quality of it.
Made by a former animation studio, or maybe they're still an animation studio, and this is their first ever game.
Wow. I wouldn't doubt the level of quality on it.
I think one comment I heard from a reviewer is like, he was a bit shocked because he got the code in like the last, very last minute.
I was nervous about that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually a bad sign. And then as he was playing it, he was asking himself why they gave that to him at the last second.
Yeah. I was feeling the same thing where usually it's not a good sign when they're writing all the way up to the end, but it's still getting 85s, 80s.
These animations are too fun with her. Like the way she does her dive and these goofballs. I hear it's a little bit of Pikmin with but also you're doing combat too. That seems
platforming.
Yeah, interesting. I think it's worth a shot. Is it on PC as well, or is it
is
just okay?
PC, PS5 right now. I'm not sure if eventually it comes to Xbox, but this would be a great Game Pass game. But if not right now, it seems like a totally fine game to jump into. It's got really good reviews.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the review, so IGN, Destructoid, talking about just relating this to like old school platformers, stuff we've played on the Nintendo 64, GameCube era, as far as the level of exploration, but the platforming, it kind of just brings you back to that. But then with this crazy updated visual art style.
Gimme.
Right?
Down. I did hear, that was another thing I heard though, is they were like, this game looks like it's for kids, but the combat's actually tough. So that's, I mean, maybe kids will be fine with that. I don't know. I played Battletoads as a kid.
Yeah, where it's just like punishing you over and over again. Maybe there's levels that you can adjust to with the difficulty. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's gotten a good review. So that's a positive.
On a negative, though, we did have a game we were hoping for to be good. Skatebird came out this week.
So I didn't pull up the...
I have it downloaded.
You do?
Yes.
So what's the Metacritic
now that I
right
finished Deathloop, it is time for Skatebird.
I know you initially, so was it almost like last summer, you played the... not Summer Arcade, but there was these demos that released on Xbox and on Steam, and that was one of them.
I think it was Summer Arcade.
Do they still call it that?
I don't know.
Gotcha. But you played it. You were still like, it's kind of, you had some issues with it.
I hated it.
Hated it.
I thought it played terrible.
Dang. So have they adjusted from your, well, I guess you haven't played the full release, but I wonder if the same things that plagued your experience are still transferred over.
Sounds like there was a lot that went into this going wrong.
So 63 on Metacritic on PC is not great.
No.
And it's a bummer where I was telling you on text where it's like, this is a huge void that we're starting to see filled more. The skate genre. It's like there was a huge gap where everyone's hungry for these games. And so we are starting to get these games come out now. But this one seems like it could have really nailed that demand, but maybe they can adjust these issues. I'm not sure what the issues are, but 63 isn't great.
It felt very like, whatchamacall, Tony Hawk has a lot of like snap to and like magnetism towards a lot of stuff, and this was just lacking.
We don't want too much of that, but you want enough to where you can confidently go, okay, I'm going to attach this thing. I'm going to do this here.
I mean, maybe rocket me to my rail from like a foot away. That feels oddly good. And this, you got to be right upon it. But it's got style.
And you think if you're a bird, it wouldn't be as demanding, like for you to be right on the nail for grinding and whatnot. But I do like the animation when the bird bails, but
yeah. Oh, and that was the other thing I found. At least the demo level that they had felt really boring.
Gotcha.
And if your level's not boring, you don't have, or if your level's boring, you don't have a skateboard game.
Now with the bird flapping its wings, can you kind of hang out in the air a little bit? Is that part of the? Gotcha.
Oh, see, that's different. It definitely was, or maybe I wasn't pressing a button. If you went up on a half pipe and you splatted, you were going to splat. So that's interesting. Thresher. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really cute looking. So I think that's a big deal. It's just like the visual style, having a bird. You're super small and you have this world around you. A little bit of like Katamari Damacy. I never know how to pronounce that game. I've now read it. Damacy. There we go. Namaste. But
God bless you.
It's got right. It's got that little bit to it. It's a bummer that people aren't digging it, but I do want to try it. At some point I'll get this on Game Pass and give it a shot.
Yeah, might as well. Basically free.
Right. Yeah. So it's no harm. But they're getting not too great reviews on Skatebird, but that's one also that's coming out recently. We got another one here. Some news on a Nintendo Direct. So this is Nintendo Direct announced tomorrow. Well, there's a new surprise Nintendo Direct soon. It's from Destructoid's Chris Carter. As per Nintendo, it'll be held tomorrow, September 23rd at 3 p.m. It'll run for roughly 40 minutes and will mainly be focused on Nintendo Switch games launching this winter. Mainly is the key phrase here. We could see a teaser for any number of future games, and they list Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime. I'm sure none of those will be there. Right. No, Nintendo. We get our hopes up and always get bummed out by what they end up showing, but that is tomorrow. Do you have any expectations, any kind of predictions on what they could show off of maybe the last Nintendo Direct of the year, or you think we're still going to get more Nintendo Directs?
Breath of the Wild 2. It's being shown now. Eat my shoe. No, I'm done.
Yeah.
They've proved no matter how like good my prediction is, it's never good enough.
No, they just unlocked Bluetooth on the Switch, so they're really out of touch with what people want to see when they want to see it. Yeah.
I think we'll get Metroid Dread. And
that might be
that's probably the only.
And that's not a bad idea to showcase that game pretty heavily because it's coming out in October. If we could see like a live demo or just more gameplay elements, that could be dope still to increase the demand on that game or the attention on that game. Beyond that, I don't foresee anything crazy with these directs. I just don't hope for anything because who knows? And if it's these are games coming out in winter, I don't think we see Breath of the Wild because I imagine that's like early 2020 at the least. Beyond that, I don't know. I don't have any hope for the next Metroid for sure. I think it's going to be Dread that we see.
Right. Blast Corps 2. Kid Icarus 3.
Sure, games that are just... Is that even announced?
What's the one? Ice Climbers relaunch.
You know what that reminds me? Everyone's saying online, most likely it's the last Smash character reveal is going to be part of this because they've kind of announced. I'm not the biggest Smash fan, but they've announced that like an actual end date for these character reveals. Maybe this is the last one.
There's a lot of characters in that game.
And that game came out what 2-3 years ago? I'd say 2 at the max.
Yeah.
So and they're still pumping out characters. So and they all have swords for some reason.
Yes, which Sakurai, I think his name is Sakurai, who has stated he doesn't get to choose who goes in this game.
What is he? What?
I know.
So he's the one crunching. Apparently, like he's the one whose life is dwindling away.
Yes,
but doesn't get to choose who's in the game.
That's exactly what I'm telling you. That's what he's telling people.
It makes sense. That totally. Now I understand why he's trying to retire every release. Cause it's like, hey, they just keep me in a room and have me code, and I don't get to say what goes on.
Yeah,
gotcha.
That'll be fun.
What's happening? We'll end it here before we play a little bit of Deathloop. Lay it on me. What do you?
I did want to bring up one thing. Uh-huh. So I don't know if you watched any of the footage. A couple of journalists, GameSpot, IGN, got some hands-on with Guardians of the Galaxy.
You know what? I vaguely saw that. I don't have any hopes for it, but what did they say?
Well, that was sort of them coming into it as well, and they came away pretty impressed. One of them kind of compared it to like Final Fantasy VII's gameplay, but instead of that, which is all about you being, the one, this is the gameplay is really focused on you being a team. So even though Quill he's moderately powerful, you need to fight as a whole team if you're going to overcome stuff. And then like your super move when you're playing well enough as a team, your super move is to give everyone a pep talk, and you try and do the right pep talk to get a big boost.
I like that idea a lot. Yeah. Because you are trying to manage this family or team of, weird, fucked up individuals and to try and say the right thing and coerce them together. I like that idea a lot.
And one of them actually played through the demo twice and went for different options, and they got quite a bit different results. So I'm curious, is this sort of like a one-shot game? Would this be like, what if Mass Effect was only one game? So we can go crazier with our options here.
True.
So it seems...
Reminds me a little bit of Telltale's The Walking Dead with the various choices you can do. I don't know if it's the same depth of what's going on here, but already, so I pulled up the Engadget article from Jess Condit saying Guardians of the Galaxy is already better than the Avengers game, which is great because like I saw this and it looked unique, looked cool and different from Avengers, but I kept thinking of that last Avengers game and how it was not for me at all. But this gives me a little more hope that it's actually be something that's on my radar versus Avengers. I
think your comparison though to like a Telltale game doesn't help that there was a Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale game.
There was that canceled? Because I know they had a couple of them and then they shuttered that studio. I want to say that was one of the ones because there was this one might have came out, but there was a Game of Thrones Telltale that I want to say came out.
I think it had an episode 1 and an episode 2 because I want to say I somehow got episode 1 for free.
I wouldn't doubt it. They were kind of pumping those out. So yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But that's good. That's positive news because I had like very low expectations that this was going to be an actual cool game, but that's dope. From the action scenes from the trailer looked fun enough. So yeah, if they can nail everything else, cool. And this one's very soon. I want to say it's October.
Ooh, that was another thing I like that they mentioned is like after you do your super move, that's when it like for the rest of the fight, it's playing something out of his mix.
Nice. That is cool.
Right.
If they can kind of name or nail the vibe of the movies with Peter Quill, that's a huge success too.
Yeah.
And how weird all the different characters are together. Nice. I like Ratchet's weird goatee thing going on.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Okay. This is back in my radar then. Before I was like, I don't give two shits.
I think that was most people. Yeah, I think that was one thing they kind of mentioned is like, this game doesn't show great, but it feels great.
I wonder if a lot of the steam that's been taken out was Avengers too, because that kind of, it should have been good on paper, but it was just not for me. And for this one, I relate it back to Avengers. I wonder if that's a lot of the issue people have.
I mean, it definitely has that same visual look as the Avengers to me.
Something is cracking on that wall.
Do we need to see what's...
But it's like structurally, I think the wall is either given away. It's some cord that's finally just like laying down, something like that.
Right. Your table's going to collapse.
I don't think it shouldn't. It's not Boeing. But yeah, I'm hearing this like weird cracking stuff in the background.
Yeah.
But okay, that's cool. That's cool about not Avengers, but Guardians of the Galaxy. This last bit here I wanted to show you, Gavin, was some footage of this dope feature that's coming soon to the Xbox controller here.
This is cool.
So my TV's trying to turn off.
Oh.
I'm going to tell it to not do that. There we go. So this is a feature here. This is from James Shields, who is pretty key in the development. So senior product planner Xbox James Shields shows off dope Xbox controller feature. So Shields calls it the double tap to switch devices upgrade and notes that it'll work on console, PC, mobile, among other supported platforms. So what he's essentially doing is switching between the two. So he shows them on his laptop, able to press the buttons on the laptop, and by double clicking that search or sync button, goes straight back to your Xbox One X.
Awesome.
That's dope. I love that.
And can't it sync with like, and then you can do that with your phone, I believe,
with your phone. I think you must have to program them into the console itself. His Xbox controller is glowing in the center, and I don't think mine does that.
Well, yours sucks.
It does. I don't know if that's not a pro controller. I have a Xbox Series X controller that I bought just for my PC and stuff. I don't think it has an LED like that. So, but it's just an update. They're not saying it's a lock to a certain controller.
Maybe it's a prototype controller.
Maybe. But essentially, once this update unlocks, you must have to enable it somehow in whatever settings where you sync the device that you have. But once you do that, you can just swap between them.
Oh, that reminds me. People are freaking out about something with like the Switch controllers. I don't know whether they there's a patent or like something to do with the FCC.
You know what? That was in my article here that I did not pull up. So about that Nintendo Direct. So that's part of it. So let me scroll back here and bring you some details that I have.
We're like, bring back the bongos, bring back the bongos.
So earlier this month, Nintendo's request for a confidentiality agreement was submitted and listed on the FCC website for an item simply described as game controller. So the idea is that with this Nintendo Direct, they might reveal whatever that game controller is. And some of those FCC images that were released, it's basically a Nintendo 64 controller. So I don't know if this is its own thing that links with the Switch, or if it's tied to the Switch's online service that lets you play old school games, if they're finally unlocking 64 games on that service, but some kind of controller that might be unveiled tomorrow.
I feel like N64 has been like the white whale of like getting these things. Or did any of them? No, maybe the Wii had. Did Wii have 64 games?
I don't know. Good question. I would assume like Mario 64, I think, was on there. I think they had the basic, top 10 64 games.
Oh, man. Huh.
But I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But if they can release like a dope 64 controller for Switch, I would buy that just for like the novelty alone. But if it also unlocks you playing the games on that streaming platform, that'd be dope too.
Right.
If it breaks apart into not only two, but like three different little handles, because the 64 had those weird 3 different things protruding out of it, that could be cool too.
I mean, the real question is, can you put your thing in it?
We'll see. All the time will tell. Tomorrow's when they have that stream there at 3 p.m. So
gotcha.
Make sure you're at home when you're watching that, Kevin.
3 p.m.?
3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
That's a weird time. Normally it's at like noon.
True.
Supposed to be me, like my final hour of work, just trying to pretend that I'm working.
Yeah, just I gotcha.
I've done it.
Buy, sell, but I don't know what you do at your work. But
I don't know. I put it in like a small corner while I'm coding. Yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of,
yes.
Man, the very last second of work today, I deleted a week's worth of work.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did you recover it?
No. This is Linux, baby. Unless you put a backup safety, there's no backup.
So what do you do? You just quit, or you just, I don't know, see you later?
I got real depressed. Like my heart physically hurt when I did it. Because the problem is in Linux, like copy and renaming something are very close. They're both 2-letter commands.
This is a great OS. Sounds like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I'd backed up my shit like you should, but I didn't. So
damn.
So now I'm gonna.
Has anybody found out that he did this?
No, I mean, the only one it affects is me. But it was a cool tool I made for myself, and I spent a week on it. Now it's gone. Gotcha. And it was like I didn't even learn anything. Like I did a good enough job. I guess that's what I learned. Back up your shit.
Right.
But
you learn the hard way for sure.
Yeah.
Can you create something that automatically does that for you? Does Linux do that? Or okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there's thousands of ways to doing it, and I'm pretty sure I may have even included like Git in this one, but I also wasn't backing it up to Git. So Git doesn't help you if you don't use it.
Gotcha.
So
the only time I've ever messed around with Linux is I bought a Chromebook years ago, and one of the cool things is you can do it with anything really now, but you could load Linux on there, and so I did it. And I played around for 5 minutes. Like, this is cool. I went back to Windows because I understand that. Right. But I know you can load Linux on anything. And on the Steam machine they're talking about, you could load Linux if you want.
I think it already is Linux.
It might be like a modified OS already with Linux on it. But yeah, I just don't know the benefit. But it seems like with your work, maybe that's how they function. Like, yeah, gives them more control over stuff.
I mean, you can do very complicated things very simply, or you can fuck up things very complicatedly, very simply. Yeah.
Cool, Gavin. Well, we'll end it there for the week. Played some Deathloop. I'm going to continue playing. Where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at DrunkDevs.
Awesome. You can keep with the show as well on Twitter at PlasticBoi. That's it for us this week. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Oh my God.